So, Dr. Peterson. So, big day today. As everybody knows, Dr. Peterson on January 28th on the JRE announced that he is starting an international consortium.
I set up an international consortium based in London. I can't tell you all the details yet, but we're trying to put together something like an alternative vision of the future, say an alternative to that kind of apocalyptic narrative that's being put forward, at least implicitly, by organizations like the WEF.
The effort of this consortium is to combat the WEF. No longer do we have to stay beholden to this apocalyptic vision that the WEF has had for us. No longer do we have to just embrace a great reset. No longer do we have to just embrace everything that they say is coming along with their so-called fourth industrial revolution. We do not have to just stand by while they make all these decisions for us, while they decide how far we can go from our house, how much carbon we can emit. No longer do we have to just sit back and look at what they have to offer as the only option, because Dr. Peterson and many other people that I have found out today have been working on something which we were calling the consortium, that is called the ARC, the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship. That's exactly what we have here. Dr. Peterson posted about this about 4 hours ago, maybe 3 hours ago, and it's not just him. And I love that they did this all at once. Now, a lot of the people who you're going to see in this feed are actually members of the Alliance, and they're really coming, like literally. One lady actually says, "Klaus, we're coming for you." This is the actual website that they have just put out. I believe it just came out today. Here is our vision. So I'm just going to take you through the whole website. Right now, let's just go to the homepage. Boom. The arc of moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Our vision, the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship, is being established as an international community with a vision for a better world where every citizen can prosper, contribute, and flourish. They're seeking answers to some fundamental questions grounded in our core belief that everyone has an intrinsic worth and has something to contribute, and that humanity has an extraordinary capacity for innovation and ingenuity. So, right away, I'm just going to go over, because they're talking about the questions. I've already been on this website. The questions are amazing. This is for you. This is not just for Justin Trudeau or the queen of whatever place or this massive CEO. This is for you to answer. They actually want your input on this. Question 1, can we find a unifying story that will guide us as we make our way forward? Question 2, how do we facilitate the development of a responsible and educated citizenry? Question 3, what is the proper role for the family, the community, and the nation in creating conditions for prosperity? Question 4, how do we govern our corporate and social political organizations so that we promote free exchange and abundance while protecting ourselves against the ever-present danger of cronyism, and corruption? Beautifully said. And just to go back to that question 4, the difference between them and the World Economic Forum is the World Economic Forum kind of huddles up together and says, guys, how do we do corruption and cronyism? How do we get this done? Huh? And then when they see the people, the public come forward, they're like, huh? What? Sorry, you can't come in here. Sorry. Question 5, how do we provide the energy and other resources upon which all economies depend in a manner that is inexpensive, reliable, safe, and efficient, including the developing world? And question 6, how should we take the responsibility of environmental stewardship seriously? And then the last question is, if you're okay with them following up with you after you say all these things, you give your name, last name, email. It doesn't even look like they're making the first and last name they're making it requirements. I don't know. But then you just put your email in, you sign up, boom. But again, this is the most important thing. The difference between the ARC and the World Economic Forum is that the World Economic Forum is not asking the public anything. They're telling us what we're going to do. They're telling us how it's going to be. They're telling us what freedoms we're going to have. They're telling us what privacy that we get, which is none. They're telling us how we're going to communicate online. They're telling us. Not one question has been asked. I have not been asked one question. I have not seen one website where I had any input whatsoever. And that's a huge difference. I know it seems very small when it's just a website and a little questionnaire, but the fact that they're even thinking about what the public might think of what they're trying to achieve is massive, because that's how it's supposed to be. Each one of us, Klaus Schwab talks a lot about stakeholders, and these stakeholders and how their opinions are so important. And the real stakeholders aren't the massively elite people in the world. They're us. We run the economy. We pay the governments. We are the ones that make these places, these states, these provinces, these towns, these cities, these farms, these stores, these factories. We're the ones that make it run. I'm getting a little too passionate. But we're the real stakeholders. I'm sorry, let me calm down. So let's move on to the website, the About section. Just want to give you guys a quick tour about the ARC. You already know what it is. It's the Alliance for Responsible Leadership. Okay, our alliance. With this as the backdrop, the ARC has drawn together a unique alliance around the world, covering politics, business, arts, and culture. Our ambition is to draw on moral, cultural, economic, spiritual foundations to imagine a future where empowered citizens take responsibility for bringing flourishing and prosperity to their homes, neighborhoods, and all sectors. Something towards that. Back in the day, and I'm not going to act like I was alive back in this day, but there was a time where you grew, I believe the percentage, at least in the US, was 98% of your own food. Okay, real quick correction to myself. I was way off on the percentage. I said about like 90 something percent. So we see here in this article I pulled up, take a moment to consider that 50% of Americans were farming in 1880. Now, less than 2% of the nation is employed in agriculture. From another perspective, in 1945, Americans grew 45% of their food in their backyard gardens. Now we grow 0.1% of our own food in our backyard gardens. So a little bit off there. Just wanted to correct myself real quick because, I will fess up when I get something wrong. So I just wanted to do that really quick. Sorry about that. Back to the video. We need to depend on each other as citizens. And I love that the ARC is actually thinking about that and giving you the opportunity to have input on that thought process. And when I say that, it's not just the website that they're doing. They're actually having a 3-day event, and it's going to be coupled, I believe, either the third day or it's like going to be like right alongside each other. But I think it's the third day is going to be for public participation. It's going to be for Q&A sessions. It's going to be for people bringing their thoughts forward, bringing their solutions forward. Completely different than the World Economic Forum. Completely different. And in my opinion, much better. But again, that was the end of that page. Let's the questions I already went over with you guys. Organizing committee. I'll just go through this real quick. I'm not going to just sit around and just say every name or go through every description of the people, but this is the organizing committee. Alan McCormick, Amanda Stoker. It's cool to see who these people are and what they actually do, what they've achieved so far, because the World Economic has queens on their side, straight up. They have guys like Justin Trudeau. Just so you know, he was a drama teacher. Yeah, you better watch out. Yeah. Amanda Stoker is a company director, columnist for the Australian Finance Review, and host of the show Sunday with Stoker on Sky News Australia. I love Sky News. Arthur C. Brooks. Arthur C. Brooks is a professor. He's a professor at Harvard Kennedy School and professor at management practice at Harvard Business School. All right. Barry Strauss, military historian with a great emphasis on ancient Greece and Rome. We have Bjorn Lomborg. Let's go. Wow. So this gentleman here, if you have any doubts of climate change or anything like that, or you want to know more about it, this gentleman is definitely somebody to add on YouTube, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. We have a gentleman named Christopher Chandler. Christopher Chandler is the chairman and founding partner at something called Ligatome. So he works in investing, has something called the Freedom Fund, has something called the End Fund. Then we have a gentleman here, Colin, and he spells his name right with one L. Let's go. He is a Emmy-winning journalist. I love that. I know this is Dan Crenshaw. Hate him or love him. I've heard a lot of people say that they don't like this guy because of certain views that he's had. I've heard a lot of people say some positive stuff about him. I only know him in the context of watching him on the JRE, and it was a pretty good episode. But again, I don't know all his politics, but he is a part of this committee. If for those of you that don't know him, he was elected to represent the people of Texas' 2nd Congressional District in November 2018. Currently serves on the House Energy and Commerce Committee. This lady right here, oh no, it's not her. Okay, it's somebody else. But she, Erica, let me just put that picture to a name. Erica Komisar. I'm just going to go with that. She's a clinical social worker, author, psychoanalyst, psychology consultant, and parent guidance expert. John Anderson. I know this name. John Anderson is the former Deputy Prime Minister of Australia. We have John Howard. John Howard is actually a very, very astute politician. Former politician, I might say, the 2nd longest serving Australian Prime Minister, having been in office from 1996 to 2007. So we have somebody who's really established in the government, who actually understands government. Here we have Jonathan Pejju. He's an artist, writer, and public speaker. And then we have Jordan B. Peterson. Jordan B. Peterson, let's read his description. Well, it says that Jordan B. Peterson is an all-out badass and a disruptor. Not going to use your pronouns even if you paid him. Oh, that's weird. No, I'm kidding. I'm completely kidding. And he will use your pronouns out of respect. Only he will not do it if it's compelled by law. That's his thing. But anyway, I'm just going to stop it there. There's many more people. Again, the reason that this is so important is because we need something that's going to stand and oppose what the World Economic Forum has to say. That's the reason why this is so important. It's not just the fact that it's Jordan Peterson's thing and oh, how cool would it be for Jordan Peterson to have say. It's not about that. It's about there just being something that opposes what they say. That's what it's all about, because what they have in store for us, what you're seeing around the world, you're seeing Canada, certain places are accepting or making a play for digital IDs. You're seeing Ohio, East Palestine, you're seeing them making plays for digital IDs. You're seeing places like Oxford in the UK, they're trying to create 15-minute cities and separate cities into districts. You're seeing all of this stuff that is completely just more and more gripping our privacy, gripping our identity, gripping our individuality. Then they're making plays for certain what is it? The cashless system, the social credit system. They're making all these plays, carbon tracking. I already talked about that. Google, if you go check a Google flight, they're showing you what your carbon tracking is. They're going to start putting limits on what kind of carbon you can emit, and that's how they're going to implement a 15-minute city. There's a lot of things that the World Economic Forum is responsible for, and they're doing it under the guise of just like having this grip on all of these politicians and just sending them out to do their bidding, and it's wrong. And the more people we have, the more organizations we have that can stand up against this thing, the better. So the website, you can go check it out. Jordan Peterson's going to be talking more about this in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be covering it all. I hope this was informative. This was a very long episode. I do apologize about that, but that's it. I'm out.